Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to be talking about 21 hair care tips that can help you in your hair journey in 2021. Plus, if you know you're interested in hair care videos, tips, routines and many more, make sure to join the family by hitting that lovely subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss another video. And now, without further ado, let's get right into this video. Now, the first hair care tip I would like to talk about is protective styling. Yeah, guys, I know I have overemphasized this in all my videos and it's always top on my list on all my videos, but I still want to make sure I emphasize it more for the sake of those that are new here. Protective styling has actually helped me in my hair journey, and it has been what I've used to grow my hair to waist length, and it's still what I'm going to use to grow my hair to tailbone length. So protective styling is a very excellent way of caring for your hair because it takes away the risk of excessive manipulation, the risk of getting your hair exposed to moisture loss to the environment, and it also takes away the risk of excessive friction from your hair rubbing against your clothes, your shoulders and all that. So guys, protective styling is one of the best and most budget friendly way to care for your hair because it does not require much products. Like, you actually have to do minimum to your hair. And I want to correct something, that protective styling is not the same as hair neglect. I actually talked about this in another video, so you can check it out if you're interested. Now, the next tip I would like to talk about is moisture. Guys, our hair can't actually live without water. Like, you have to give it that water, you have to give it that moisture. When your hair is deprived of moisture, it will dry out, and before you know what's happening, it starts breaking. You start having hair loss, and you won't have length retention, and your hair is going to be stuck at a particular length. So to avoid this, guys, always make sure you moisturize your hair, and don't end with moisturizing your hair. Always make sure you seal your hair after moisturizing your hair, and this is to enable the moisture to stay in your hair and to prevent it from evaporating out quickly. Especially if you have high porosity hair like me, you find out that it's difficult to keep moisture and products in your hair. So one of the way of prolonging the effect of moisturizers and products generally on your hair is the use of a sealant. Now, another tip which I would like us to implement in our hair journey is to stop excessive manipulation. One of the simple ways of doing it is just to put your hair in a protective style, like I said, because when you are excessively manipulating your hair will be more likely to break due to the repeated trauma, repeated stress and all that. So avoid excessive manipulation as much as possible. Another tip for caring for your hair, guys, is protein treatment. Just like I said about the moisture, your hair needs protein as well, especially if you are relaxed. Relaxers are actually chemicals that break down the protein bonds in our hair. So after a relaxer process, your hair actually needs that extra support, that extra protein and that extra strength. So always make sure to give your hair a protein treatment. You can also use protein leave-ins as well, just like moisture. Just like there are moisturizing leave-ins you can use to give your hair moisture, there are also protein leave-ins you can use on your hair to give your hair moisture. Another tip is to reduce the amount of time you shampoo your hair. So guys, no frequent shampoos. Apart from the fact that it is excessive manipulation, shampoos are chemicals or they contain ingredients that actually have the ability to dry out your hair or strip your hair of its natural oils. So you find out that when you use shampoos too frequently on a daily basis, every 2 days, you find out that your hair tends to dry out, and before you know it, your hair is breaking and you have hair loss. Even if you have to wash your hair that excessively, which I won't advise though, because this is excessive manipulation, but even if you have to wash your hair excessively, like twice in a week, because I won't advise to go more than that, you can use co-wash, conditioner, and so wash your hair instead of using shampoos. So the next tip I would like to talk about is proper detangling. Guys, your hair growth journey for 6 years can be put into shambles in one day because of a rushed detangling process, or because of a careless detangling process. That's why we have to make sure we are always careful with our detangling. You have to make sure you are patient and you have all the time in the world when you want to detangle your hair. And when you want to detangle your hair, don't be in a rush. Start with finger detangling your hair. Remove all knots, remove all tangles, remove all shade. Then go in with a wide tooth comb, and if possible stop at that. You should only go in with a small tooth comb when it's absolutely necessary. But if your hair is properly detangled with a wide tooth comb, then just stop at that. And another thing is, you want to make sure you detangle from your ends to your roots. Don't ever make the mistake of detangling from your roots down, because if you do that, you're going to get bigger knots, bigger tangles, and your hair is going to break because you will not be able to detangle those big knots and tangles, if that makes sense. Now another tip is to sleep on satin or silk. This could be a satin or silk bonnet, or it could be a satin or silk pillowcase. This is absolutely important for the moisture of your hair and for the friction and stress of your hair, because if you don't sleep on satin or silk, and for example you use a cotton pillowcase and you sleep on it like that, cotton actually have a way of drying out our hair. So if you do that, you find out that when you wake up in the morning, your hair will be tangled. Plus, satin and silk are actually less harsh on our hair when it comes to friction and the stress compared to cotton. So that's why the use of satin or silk is generally advised. Now another hair tip which can help you in your journey for this year is scalp massages. I don't do this all the time, but the few times I do, it usually feels amazing. The care for your hair or your hair journey should involve the care for your scalp as well. A messy scalp is going to produce messy hair, so make sure you take care of your scalp as well. And that's why you can engage in scalp massages. You can do this daily, like a habit, just 5 to 10 minutes of scalp massages every day, and this helps to stimulate blood flow to your scalp, which will lead to a hairier scalp and healthier hair. Now another tip is using the inversion method. This is almost like the scalp massage, but the difference is that your head is going to be in an inverted position. This way, even more blood will be stimulated to your scalp and even more blood will flow to your scalp, which will lead to a healthier scalp and healthier hair. Now another tip is to stretch out your relaxers. Like I say in my videos, when you relax your hair too frequently or too often, say every 6 weeks, you are going to have overlapping of relaxers, meaning you are going to relax hair that you have previously relaxed before, and this is going to lead to more protein bonds breakage and hair breakage, because your hair is going to become more weak from over processing. So this is going to lead to hair breakage and hair loss. Now another tip is to limit your use of heat and heat styling tools, your use of blow dryers, your use of flat irons. I normally blow dry and flat iron my hair only when I relax my hair. For example, for me now, my last relaxer stretch was 6 months, meaning for 6 months I did not actually blow dry or flat iron my hair or use heat on my hair. You can use heat on your hair, let's say every 2 months. I don't really know about 1 month. I'll be very careful about that. But if you are the type that use heat on your hair every single week, I'll advise that you cut down on that, because apart from the fact that you are excessively manipulating your hair, you are also exposing your hair to the risk of more damage by frequently using heat on your hair every week. Now the next tip I'd like us to talk about is the use of heat protectant. Even if you limit your use of heat, it does not stop at that. You have to make sure that every time you use flat irons on your hair or blow dryers on your hair or any heat tool on your hair, you have to make sure you use a heat protectant. This way there will be sort of a barrier between your hair and the heat protectant, and the flat iron will not be directly in contact with your hair, reducing the risk for hair damage. So that's why it's advisable to use a heat protectant. When I talked about my hair care products in my hair care video, I already forgot about my heat protectant. I skipped that part, so maybe I'll do another video talking about my hair tools, my blow dryer, my flat iron, and my heat protectant. So make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when I upload that video. Now the next tip I would like to talk about is to pull your hair up. Always learn to pull your hair up, and that's why most of the time when I'm not in a long-term protective style, my hair is in buns, because leaving your hair down is going to make your hair rub on your shoulders, on your clothes, on the wall when you rest your back, and this is going to lead to repeated micro trauma on the hair strands, which in the long run will lead to hair breakage and hair loss. So you always want to make sure you pull your hair up. I'm not saying your hair has to be tied up 247. You can leave your hair down like once in a while, let's say like twice in a week or once in a week, depending on what your hair can take. But most of the time, generally your hair should be up. Now another tip, guys, is about trimming your hair. You have to trim your hair when you know your ends are split, when you know your ends are not healthy. If not, the splits are going to travel up the length of your hair, and before you know it, your entire hair is damaged. So always learn to trim your hair when your ends are split or when they are damaged. But I will not advise trimming excessively. Always look at your hair and find out, are your ends split, are your ends damaged, and trim your hair when you know they really need a trim. I don't trim my hair all the time, and there is no fixed time I trim my hair. I trim my hair depending on the state of my ends, depending on how they look. So I look at my hair, and if I see that my ends are really in need of a trim, then I go ahead and trim my hair. Now the next tip I'd like to talk about is to prep for a protective style. Always make sure that before going into a protective style installation, not before you install a protective style, make sure you prep your hair, because a protective style is a journey on its own. So before installing a protective style, you have to make sure your hair is in optimum condition. You have to wash your hair, you have to deep condition your hair, you have to moisturize and seal your hair before putting it in a protective style. Although use the product to a minimum, because hey, we are trying to avoid product buildup. Now the next tip is to prep your hair for a relaxer. A relaxer process is a journey, and I made a video about this in detail, so you can check out that video. We talk about the 3 stages of the relaxer process. I talk about how to care for your hair before a relaxer process, things to avoid in the relaxer process itself to avoid damage, and how to care for your hair after a relaxer process. So you have to make sure your hair is prepared before a relaxer process. You can't just wake up one morning and decide to relax your hair. A relaxer process is a journey. It takes at least 1 month for the journey to be over. So you have to make sure you prep your hair. You can check out that videos on the different things I said about not scratching or irritating your scalp for at least 2 weeks, not being in a protective style like box braids, sew in for at least 2 weeks before a relaxer process, and also avoiding the use of dyes and colors for at least 2 weeks before the relaxer process. So you can check out that video to get the rest of the details. Now the next tip I'd like to talk about is to always deep condition your hair after washing your hair. Guys, this is very important. Our hair always needs protein, it always needs moisture, so you have to make sure you properly deep condition your hair after every wash. It can be a moisturizing deep conditioner, it can be a protein deep conditioner, depending on what your hair needs and what your hair wants. It's very key you deep condition your hair after washing your hair, especially when your hair have gone through stresses like protective styling or a relaxer process. You have to make sure you adequately deep condition your hair. Now the next care tip you can implement in your hair journey for this year is to participate in hot oil treatments. Hot oil treatments are very moisturizing for the hair, especially before shampooing. You know, I said earlier that shampoos are chemicals or they contain ingredients that can dry out your hair and strip out natural oils from your hair. So to limit this or to keep your hair in a moisturized state even after shampooing, you can actually do a hot oil treatment before washing your hair or before shampooing your hair. This way your hair is less likely to dry out even after using a shampoo on your hair. Now the next hair care tips that we can implement for our hair journey in this year is to keep our combs, our brushes, our bonnets and all our hair tools as clean as possible. Guys, you don't want to use dirty hair tools on your hair. Imagine after washing your hair, after shampooing your hair, deep conditioning, giving it all the treatments it needs, and stepping out of the shower, then using dirty tools to detangle or comb your hair or take care of your hair. All your efforts would have been wasted because the dirt you've rinsed out is actually going to be put back into the hair by the dirty hair tools you are using, which is not good for the health of your hair. So guys, always make sure to keep your hair tools as neat as possible. You have to wash them on a regular basis and keep them clean, because for our hair to be clean, your tools have to be clean as well. Now the next tip that can help us in our hair journey for this year is to study your hair, guys. Everyone's hair is different. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. It's like individualized. So your hair care regimen, your hair care routine and everything, including your hair care product, your choice of a relaxer, your choice of a product, is going to depend on your hair type, on your hair porosity, on your hair density and different things about your hair. So that's why you have to study your hair, and this is not just a one day thing. It's a process, because you always have to review your hair, review what your hair is saying to the use of a product, review if your hair likes the product you are using, if it likes the change in your routine, if it likes your current routine. So you always have to continuously study your hair. Now the last tip, guys, although not the least, actually a very important tip, is to be patient. It's called a hair journey for a reason. You can't just grow your hair overnight. It's a process. It's filled with different experimentations and failures, trials and errors. So you have to be patient in this journey, and all this together actually makes it fun, because if you just woke up one morning and decided to grow your hair and everything was going according to plan and perfectly well, of course with time you get bored with it and there will be no fun. So guys, this actually makes it fun. All the trials and errors, the experimentations and failures, the different setbacks and all that. So guys, make sure to be patient while on this journey and just have fun with your hair. Okay, just be free, don't be so tense, don't be so worried and getting a length check every month, getting a length check every week, just taking pictures every day. No guys, that's going to stress you out. So just have fun, enjoy the journey of your hair, and with time you will surely see results. So yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.